I should now have sound. Now I have sound. Yeah. All right. See? There we go. That's why we have production staff in the background telling me that I'm doing things right or wrong, because I had the wrong microphone selected. I should have sound now. There's a delay when YouTube catches up. My staff will let me know whether I have sound or not. Yay, I got the full thumbs up. All right. So now that we've covered all the technical details of getting a YouTube live stream going, thanks for being here. This is a live demo of TechIDManager. Public, anybody can come watch this link, anybody can come see it. So we're going to cover what TechIDManager is, what it does, how it can help an MSP do privileged account management and secrets management and password management for themselves, their technicians, and co-managed situations for people that are at their client sites. We start with a little bit of background, some high-level stuff, then we'll actually get in and show you the product live. And there's a chat section, and if you have any questions, put them there. My minion or production staff, as I like to call them, really one person, her, Emily. She's awesome. Thanks, Emily. She'll relay them to me and we'll answer them. And the doobly-doos down below. So, TechIDManager is a privileged account management product specifically targeted at MSPs and VARs, where you have a series of technicians, they need access to a series of client locations, and the best way to do that, the way that all the cybersecurity frameworks say you should do it, the way the cyber insurance companies say you should do it, the way the cyber experts and the security experts say you should do it. For accountability and traceability, ability to add and remove access, least privileged access, all of that is satisfied by making a unique account for every technician. Real straightforward, real simple sounding thing to do. But when it comes to the scale at which MSPs need to do this, it becomes a geometric problem where it just becomes untenable to solve. If you have 25 technicians and you have 400 clients, right there, that's 10,000 accounts that you have to make, maintain, rotate passwords on, set rights on, protect, make sure everything is good on. That just becomes untenable for an MSP to do it. And when a technician comes or goes, that's a lot of accounts. And when something happens, you need that accountability and traceability from all viewing angles. So when the technician looks to see what happened on their network, or an auditor from the client looks, or when an MSP technician looks to see, or when an auditor from the MSP looks at one of your client sites to see what's going on, every action should be logged and distributable directly and immediately to a specific person. This goes a little bit further also, that every action, every account should have all that protection around it to make sure the account stays there. Hackers don't remove it. If the hacker removes it, TechIDManager builds that account back up. If somebody inappropriately elevates that account, TechIDManager will de-elevate that account to make sure that they keep a least privileged stance and that they have protected accounts. How does TechIDManager do this? What are the big benefits of this? The big benefits are accountability, traceability, and ease of access for technicians. For an MSP to add and remove technicians and control who has access where. We can do this very granular, or you can do it in large swaths with different groups. So say this group of technicians, like this pod, gets access to all of these clients, or this tier of engineers gets access to all these clients with this tier of rights. Lots of flexibility and power there. We started in February 2019. We have clients on 4 different continents, kind of all over the world. We host servers all over the world. So if you want your data hosted in the EU or Australia or Canada, we can do that. This whole product is also self-hostable if you want to be in control of all of the data. This is particularly important if you have CMMC requirements, or if you are, for lack of a better word, a more paranoid MSP that really wants to be physical control or electronic control of all the vendor data, specifically the privileged data. We go one step further than that. We are the only privileged account management package that uses asymmetric encryption to guarantee only the individual who the account is made for can actually decrypt and see that information. Even though we're the SaaS vendor and we host all of this data for quite a few of our clients, the non-self-hosted ones, we can't read any of the data that we host because we use asymmetric encryption and we don't have the private keys to decrypt that. It's a very high level, very powerful, very minute detail about the way in which we've chosen to privilege account management that makes it super secure and important. All right. So, all of that said, what does it actually look like for a technician when they use TechIDManager on a daily basis to get access to their clients' networks, Azure tenants, machines that they need access to. What we're going to show today is we are going to show logging into an Azure tenant, and then maybe we'll show logging into a domain controller also. We can also do it for local machines. We can do it in a variety of different ways. We'll just show you some of the simple ways that we do it. Let me share my screen here. So what we have on the screen here is the tech client. TechIDManager has several pieces that work together to make this work. There are agents you install, where you need accounts made and managed. There's a cloud-hosted piece for the management console, and then there's a tech client, which runs on each technician's computer. This tech client has in it the asymmetric encryption keys that are specific to that technician. I have my own, Emily has her own, Nick has his own. Everybody has their own keys. And nobody's keys can read other people's information. It's a very secure system. So each line here is a place that TechIDManager makes or maintains an account for me as a technician. These icons on the side over here specify the different types of accounts. You can see that we have lots of different icons here, meaning, well, if we got it out from behind my head, you can see it. There are lots of different icons here. They mean different things. We can do Azure accounts specific to a person that are just in time. So this account doesn't exist until the technician needs to use it, then it exists, and then it's disabled, all the rights are removed from it, and it's unusable until the next time they need to use it. We do keep that account around because accountability and traceability and cybersecurity requirements say that the account has to be traceable, and that means the account has to stay around. Very important. You can also see here we do local machine accounts that are unique to a person. We can do local accounts that are shared between people, even though we say that you should stop sharing admin accounts, like in the sticker up in the corner. There are times, technological reasons, licensing reasons, business reasons, that you have to share accounts. So TechIDManager can take those over and share them. We can layer all of those things, domain accounts, shared accounts, Azure accounts, unique accounts, with managed accounts and just-in-time accounts. There's quite a variety there. So let's first look at logging into an Azure tenant. I want to log into the Ruffian commercial tenant. We can also do GCC stuff, Azure tenants also. We're going to log into this Ruffian on Microsoft.com account. So I bring up portal.azure.com. I copy my username from there. I put it here. I get my password. I put it here. My MFA is also stored in Tech Client, which is unique to me. So I verify, and now I would like to stay logged in. I'm logged in to this Azure tenant as myself. Everything I do is traced, accounted, loggable to me. I used MFA to log in this account, and this account is limited, has limited rights that are specific to what I as a technician should have on this Azure tenant. So no longer does every technician share a global administrator account. That global administrator account is assigned to one person. My account might have global administrator rights. It might have user administrator rights. It might have SQL administrator, SharePoint administrator. It might have a whole variety of different things based on my role at the MSP. And those are all easy to lay out. We also saw that there's MFA directly on this account, which is specific to me, which is a requirement in Azure. That's very easy to do. You can also use the push MFA that's available in Azure to push that to your phone. All of that is doable. We also have easy, and so it was super easy there. You saw with like 5 button clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 button clicks. I went from trying to get logged in an Azure tenant to logged in with an account specific to me and traceable with a password. If we look at that, we'll see that password changed last night around midnight. So it's not susceptible to a lot of attacks because we're continually rotating passwords. Every 24 hours, every password everywhere rotates. We have a history of them if you want them, if you need to go back and recover a machine from a backup. All those things are taken care of. If the machine's offline, the password doesn't rotate because this is the one from yesterday is still valid. All those edge cases that your MS tier technicians will bring up as they think about how to do privileged account management, we have thought of, solved, covered, and done for the last 5 years across the entire globe. So you might ask, well, what about logging into a machine? Is that any different? It's the same mentality. Every person gets their own account. There's a little bit of easier because there's a actual app it's a little easier. So we can see here, this is the 𝗫 domain that I want to get logged into. I bring up the tech client as a technician. Somewhere in here is an account for the 𝗫 domain for me. I can just click this search button over here. And when I click this search button, the tech client went out, looked at what I had open on my computer and said, oh, you are probably trying to log in via Screen Connect to this 𝗫 domain. That integration works with every remote connection tool. Ninja, Datto, Kaseya, RDP, all of them. And this integration here, where we're going to just directly inject our credentials, works also with all those remote connection tools. So you can see, I didn't have to do anything. My username and password are automatically entered. I am logged in. I am logged in with an account unique to me, just like I was with Azure. This account was automatically made. It's automatically has password rotation, has rights that are set specifically to me. I should get logged in. This machine's really slow. This account is protected and is my account. Everything I do is traceable to me very specifically. There we are. So now I'm logged in. As a technician, to get logged into a remote connection tool, that took me 3 button clicks. Very quick, very efficient. I didn't have to remember a username, type a password out, use that copy-paste buffer. Nothing went in my copy-paste buffer. It just directly injected those credentials. So that reminds me of a funny story. When I worked at MSP, we had a documentation tool where we kept usernames and passwords for the shared global administrator tenant, global administrator for different machines and different clients. One time, one of our technicians copied that administrator password, pasted it to log in, and then the user had a Word document open. They pasted our administrator password into the user's Word document, didn't realize it, and left it there. So the user came back to their document and said, oh, what is administrator? And then why their administrator password is right there. It was a debacle. We inject without using the copy-paste buffer, just so that doesn't happen. Like I said, all these little edge cases, details that people always, oh, what about technicians and MSP owners are always like, oh, what about this edge case? What about this edge case? We have thought about all of those. We've run into them, we've dealt with them, and all of them are handled. So that was 2 types of logins. One to Azure tenant and one to a domain controller. The same thing works on local machines, and we are working on making it work on Mac and Linux. So you'll be able to control all of your machines, privileged accounts across your entire infrastructure with one place. So we've been doing this for 5 years. 2 years ago, our partners came to us and said, hey, we love the zero visibility encryption that you are using. We love the ease of use of TechIDManager for getting in with privileged accounts that TechIDManager makes and maintains. There are other accounts, like firewalls, like some SaaS software products that we just need to store the password for, like the password for the domain controller reset passwords. We need to store those, and we'd like to use TechIDManager and the zero visibility storage to do that. But we'd like to share these password vaults between technicians. Can you add that to your product? And since we love customer feedback and we love to make our customers happy, our partners, we added a vault of passwords. Each vault is a cryptographically secure entity that uses that same zero visibility encryption. So though we are storing all these credentials, we can't see them. Only the technicians that should see them have keys to these vaults to see them. We added that, and at the vault level, you can put as many credentials in a vault as you want, and you can also determine who can see the vault, who has the key to the vault, and if somebody can't see the vault. So you get a lot of very specific permissions that are MSP centered around a password vault that make things accessible. So we can see here this credential for this firewall at 𝗫. I can see the username for that. And if I look at the details of this, I can see the password for that. It's a terrible password, isn't it? ASDF? Who makes a password of ASDF? Because it's a test, anyway. But we can also see here there's another vault, another password here named Emily2, that this is Emily's second password. There's a little red circle here, means that I can't see that password. And if I try to look at the details on that, we can see that that is in a vault named Emily's vault. I don't have access to it. I can't see what's there. This is important for MSPs because you have a lot of technicians going to a lot of different places, and you have some technicians that you want to share information with, but you have other technicians you want them to know that information exists, but when they come across the need for it, you want that part of the project to go to this specific person. TechIDManager helps with that by allowing them to see a credential exists, but not have access to it. Such as, say, here's a specific instance. One of our partners came to us and said, hey, we love this vault. It works great. Here's something that happened. In their previous password vault they were using before TechIDManager, they had a technician that was sent out to a site. There was an issue with the router. They did a physical reset on the router, reconfigured it, set a username and password, and put that in a password vault. Well, about a week later, another technician came out to the same site for a different issue. They decided the issue was a router issue. So they looked in the password vault. They weren't allowed to see that password. They didn't even know it was there. They thought it had been lost information. So they reset the router, reset it back up, set a new username and password, and put it in the password vault right beside the other one that they couldn't see. This happened 5 times. So this particular client ended up with 6 entries for the same router that nobody except the person that put it in could see. And it was a problem because this router got reset too many times. In TechIDManager, the person would see, oh, I see that there is a username and password, but I can't decrypt it. I don't have the key for that. Let me talk to my manager and see if I can either get access to that vault or get the person who has access to that vault to do this work. It is a real minor thing, but it's really important in the way that workflow and privileged accounts and privileged access and secrets management works within TechIDManager. Another important piece, when you transition out of a documentation system for storage of passwords, which is really the way it has been done, but it has several serious issues, one of which is vendor accessibility to data. Quite a few things that we think are wrong with storing passwords in a documentation tool. There is a history of, at the MSP, the technicians go to this spot in the documentation tool to get access to this information. We have added an ability to make a tech client link to put in your documentation tool that will take a technician into the tech client and open the correct line so that they can still go to the same place and follow the same workflow and get the information. But you as the owner or the MSP manager, operations manager, know that the information is asymmetrically encrypted and protected and has all of that stuff around it. Very important. So that is our password vault. You can see on the left here, if I move it up out from behind my head, there's also a tree that you can organize things into. This tree can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. The same tree exists in managed passwords and vault passwords so that you can organize things by client, by site, by region. This tree is really free form. You can make it look like whatever you want to make it look like. You'll find that as you use TechIDManager, you'll find that more and more that we really provide you a lot of powerful tools to configure at your leisure the way that helps you the most. Starting with even just the types of privileged account management you do, whether you want unique accounts, shared accounts, domain, local machine, Azure, whatever, just in time or managed, totally up to you. All right. That is a high-level basics overview on the tech client and TechIDManager. It is a very efficient way for technicians to have access to client sites to get automatic account creation, password rotation, just-in-time access or managed access, online or offline. We have a lot of options. We also have service accounts. We have auto logon accounts we can manage in case you have a kiosk style machine, but you still need to rotate the password on it. We can do that. We can do all of that. We even have a credential provider that'll help you get logged in with these accounts on individual work group machines if need be. It's really quite flushed out. It's a pretty mature product. We would love to talk to you more. If you have specific questions about it, we would like to hear from you. So check us out at ruffiansoftware.com. Top right corner, there's a button to schedule a personal one-on-one demo, and we can answer any questions that you have. All right? We enjoy you being here today. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. That's why I have on this plaid shirt that's red and green, because it's holiday season. I love holiday season. So Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, y'all. And we look forward to talking to you one-on-one in a demo, or you can just install the product. Love to hear from you. Have a great day.